want you to imagine a scenario, Elaine. A scenario where Wonka is setting up his golden ticket giveaway once again in a world a little bit different to our own. You see, you know what? I'm not going to explain how the world is different to our own because I don't want to get into the logistics of it. Okay,
that's fair. I probably would have zoned out anyway.
You know, the letters they're traveling. The letters. Hold on. That's not how the golden tickets are sent out. I forgot how the whole fucking thing works. I just forgot how the whole thing works. I was just picturing these little letters.
Do you
with,
have
like,
a Willy Wonka
invitations.
podcast? Did you cover the movie, the other movie, which were 4 episodes? Did you cover the book? Did you?
You think at this point I'd have this nailed down, but
like
apparently
10
this
hours.
is why we need so many episodes, because at this point I still forget. We said Wonka lives rent-free in people's brains, but apparently I just forget about the chocolate, which is the crux of the thing.
There is a cost for you. There is a cost for Wonka living in your brain. It's not free rent for you.
That is true. It's decidedly paid rent in terms of my well-being. Time spent on other things.
And mine's just like a squatter.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these golden tickets are getting sent out. How, Felicia?
By chocolate bar, and everybody's buying all these chocolate bars. But here's the thing: all the chocolate bars, the winners are from all over the world, and actually all out throughout time and space, crazily enough. But the one thing is all the winners, they look a little bit like a Chelsea boot. It's kind of crazy.
Oh my gosh, is this a Payless?
It's a Payless full of Wonka winners. Do you know what I mean?
Wow. Oh, yeah, I totally follow.
But there's one winner who he's like in France, and he's kind of like a little bit of a revolutionary. He got the golden ticket. There's one guy who's in fucking space, and he got the golden ticket.
Oh,
That's
shit.
crazy. I guess
Is it a vermicious canood?
Holy shit! Wait, are the sandworms from Dune vermicious canoes?
Okay, hold the fuck up. Scram!
God, that movie would have been so much better. I haven't seen it, but I know it would have been better if instead of like it coming out with the big mouth, it just said scram. You know what I mean? Just like
scram.
And then like another guy opened one up and he got it, and he was in like the 90s in California. He was like a real douche about the whole thing. He was like very pretentious about it. Like, I actually don't need this, but he needs it. And then like some guy in around the Civil War, I don't know American history, but he wears a little fancy boy outfit. And then like a guy in medieval England. Isn't that crazy? And then one other guy who's in a Western, crazily enough. And, I've done a terrible job describing this, so probably not many people picked up on this yet if it weren't for the episode title. But all of these people are Timothée Chalamet characters, and they've all won the golden ticket. So this is the inaugural Wonka Watch episode of Who Will Win Wonka's Factory.
Dun dun.
Timothée Chalamet characters it did.
Dun 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 dun. Timothée. Dun 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 dun. Chalamet. Dun 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 dun. Fighting against each other. Dun, dun.
Thank you.
We have a really low production budget here, guys. It's a cappella. That's it.
That's all you get. For this episode, Elaine and I, this is kind of a repeating format you're going to see a few times on Wonka Watch because we get a kick out of it. Elaine and I, we've each chosen 3 Timothée Chalamet characters. We're going to analyze, we're going to review, and we're going to see who out of them has the potential to win Wonka's Factory. And from our findings, we're going to pick a final winner. Who would be the Wonka successor? No, the Wonka successor. I was trying to see, the thing is I think in my head, I think puns work if you just put 2 words next to each other and cut out a syllable, and that's not how it works. I'm like, Wonka successor. That's not a pun. That's just 2 words you put together.
No, well, I'm glad that this is a safe place for you to experiment with your comedy. And we all support you on this journey. And I still got a giggle out of it. So
well, that's good. I'm glad.
If the intention was not, if that wasn't your exact intention, you still got the outcome. That's okay. It's not about the journey. It's about the end, which is not actually what most people say whatsoever. It's not about the journey. It's just about the end.
We can't say that on a podcast where we are spending like 2 years talking about this fucking movie. It has to be about the journey, Elaine. It cannot be about the end. It cannot be about the end.
We do the finale and then we wake up from our coma and it was all a dream.
I've blacked out for the last 2 years. What happened?
They're like, did you see God? Do you know what's beyond? You're like, I created a Willy Wonka podcast. And
I just saw Wonka.
And for some reason, I made an episode where I made Timothée Chalamet battle himself. But as
they're not like battling to the death. This isn't a Hunger Games episode. They're just going through the factory.
Wow.
Unless you've changed the fiction to an absurd degree.
Look, Felicia, I am not a brutal dark person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever go there. I am just all daisies, rainbows, and green grass that's been freshly mowed.
Okay, so before we get into like episode proper, Wonka Watch.
Oh, what's this on my wrist?
Is that a Wonka Watch?
It is.
Officially licensed Wonka Watch.
You can buy yours today at buymeacoffee.com/Wonka Watch, where you give there's no watch.
There's no watch. It's a symbolic watch. You have to imagine after you give us $5.
We will send out the thought to you so you can perfectly visualize what we want it to be. Right
Me
now,
trying to put a watch on your wrist with my mind.
Is it lilac or magenta? You don't know, and it's going to eat away at you.
I'm making an executive choice. Lavender is not part. Elaine, lavender is not part of our clearly made design palette.
Okay, it's the Fickle Grubber line.
Oh, the Fickle Grubber line. My apologies. My apologies.
We haven't really had a business meeting about this yet, guys. I hate when we do this on air. I'm so sorry. It's like when your parents are fighting.
Yeah.
Except
it is not a joke, though, that I have a shockingly in-depth, more in-depth than most companies, a design guide for this podcast. This podcast has way too much like operational work put into it.
If we ever hit some goal, I think we should do an exclusive quick Loom video of this is what our database is, because we talk about it all the time and I'm pretty sure people don't give it. It's like being like, and this is how we mop the floor. People are like, I don't care.
We're back end tech developers for the Wonka podcast, and like we talk about it.
We're so proud of ourselves.
If we ever get a Notion sponsorship, oh my
God. I will lay a golden egg.
Okay, so the big Wonka Watch news from this week is actually like kind of serious. So basically someone is selling counterfeit Wonka bars to UK shops.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Because Wonka bars are a thing you can buy in the UK. The counterfeit Wonka bars are being made by unregistered businesses that may not follow food hygiene laws, and because some of the counterfeits have been analyzed and contain allergens that weren't listed on the label. So that's bad and fucked up, obviously. So an authentic chocolate bar will have the official Ferrero or Ferrera brand. And you got to raise issues with the retailers and report it to local authorities if you found a wrong one. But like this has happened more than once, which is the insane thing. So this happened before in April of 2013, where boxes of fake Wonka bars appeared in shops throughout the country and their labels promoted a golden ticket giveaway that did not exist. And somebody won it and was like, hey, how do I get my prize? And Nestle was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then they realized they'd had these fake ones for years. So then at the time, Nestle owned the trademark for Wonka bars, and the company confirmed that they hadn't made any Wonka brand chocolate since 2013. So like these Wonka bars just like popped up on the market.
What if that was crazy? Like your favorite chocolate bar? Like you found it in 2014, let's say, and you like got one every single week, and you've just been eating this mystery chocolate.
Is that crazy?
How did no one know? I guess these are things you don't like think about.
Check. Yeah. It's not, you're not like, let me see if my Wonka bar is counterfeit. That's
so
only something with Wonka Mania would do.
Like, are they just are they still on the run?
I don't know.
They have like a Hamburglar of Wonka bars.
See, it was actually Timothée Chalamet method acting.
Oh, wow. That was a long game. He didn't even know there was going to be a prequel. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah. How old was he back then? Like 17? Yeah. Good for him.
No.
What?
He would not have been 17.
Wouldn't he be though?
2014, I was a sophomore and or junior in college.
Hold on. No. Give me a second. 2014. He's 27. Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing my problem here. Hold on.
He ages differently, actually.
Minus 27, 1994.
I'm not gonna lie, I've tried to do math 3 times in my head now and I keep getting lost like a fog.
Would have been 20. He would have been 20. So it wasn't that bad. Okay.
14 versus 20.
I said 17. You are making this a lot worse than it was.
Versus 20, Felicia. That's
2 years old? Why would you say he's 2 years old?
Wow. That is fucking
It's
insane.
Though. So
they have
so if you're in the UK, just like watch out.
What?
Just be careful.
Double check your candies, man. Make sure that it's coming from the right place. The fact that retailers also didn't catch on to it is scary. Like, how do you hack into a distribution thing?
I don't know. It's wild.
That's fucking insane.
So let's get to the episode proper. So let's imagine it. We're at the factory gates, and the factory gates open. And who enters first? Why? It's Timothée Chalamet as Zefferelli B from Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. It's my first character. Up on the roster, Zefferelli B. He's a like a college student who's kind of a revolutionary. He's like 19 years old, so that's pretty cool. We'll dive a little bit more into Zefferelli B a little bit later. But Elaine, who's the first Wonka boy you're representing today?
A striking figure wearing a black armored suit and has a weird look about him. It's Paul from Dune. Dune. Dern Flurf.
Oh God, Dern Flurf is very good. Dern. Yeah, Zefferelli B is kind of very much a contrast to him because he's got like hair that's like crazy and he's got a mustache. He's crazy.
Yeah, Paul just looks angsty. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I also haven't seen Dune. I did some research. I love you so much, Elaine. So I think I'm still gonna hit it, but I just was like, I couldn't bring myself to do it the way, like, there was just so much, and I was like, you know what? I can figure this out. I'm good. Like, I can piece it together. I've watched some YouTube videos, and all I needed really in my mind was to get his vibe, and I believe I've caught his vibe. And if not, leave me alone. No,
I can weigh in, but only from the perspective of watching David Lynch's 1980s Dune.
See, I figured combined, we can.
We'll get there.
Paul is. We can more what's the word? Mold him into our own thing we want. Oh my God. Why was that so stressful? Okay, moving on from Dune. Who's next? God. Who's following?
There's a little guy in an annoying blue jacket, and he's like throwing a phone on the ground. He's stomping on it, and his hair, it's all curly, and it's kind of coming down in those two little sheets like parted curtains. Who is that? Well, it's Kyle. It's Kyle from Lady Bird. Of course.
Kyle. There's something about him. Oh, as a high schooler, I'd just be like, ooh, what?
He sucks. I'm sorry. I do not.
Oh, no,
I do not share your poor judgment.
My therapist. Every time. Oh my God, Kyle, I can't wait to hear what you did to Kyle. I mean, maybe he wins.
I just remembered what I wrote, and it's concerning. I don't know why I wrote that. It was really strange. It was really strange.
None of these, I believe, are going to be even remotely
I don't think anyone's going to be like, wow, I'm just glad those two girls are doing well after listening to this, you know? What two lovely little ladies, you know?
I'm taking them to my family's picnic.
No, those are girls you take home to meet the parents. No, those are girls you take home to meet the parents. Who's your next? Who's your next?
They did a tell-all on men.com.
God, that's a deep cut. We haven't done men.com in a while.
Only true Wonka Watch fans know what I'm talking about.
Listening to our least listened to episode, the second part of Johnny Wonka, which honestly completely valid. I wouldn't have listened to it either. Yes. Okay, who's your next character?
You see this strapping, scrawny little soldier timidly take tiny little steps forward, little shoulder slumped a bit, looks a little confused, but seems overall like aware of the surroundings. And it's a little army captain boy soldier thing, and his name is Philippe Dejardin. But don't be fooled by his French origins. He's a soldier in the Civil War, and he's a little scared.
Yes, everybody, we've got Timothée Chalamet as the ever beloved and well-known part of Philippe Dejardin in Hostiles, a movie I don't think anyone's ever seen.
No, including me. I did not watch it again.
Yeah, I sent Elaine a 3-minute clip that I haven't watched. So
yes, it was someone who just took all of Timothée Chalamet parts in there, and they were dedicated. By the way, there was like shots where I was like, "This isn't about him," but he was just in the background on a horse scratching the back of his neck, included. I was like, amazing.
So the last little gentleman to walk up to the Wonka gates is someone who looks very princely. That's right. It is King Richard, from history. But he's played by Timothée Chalamet. I don't really know why he's here, considering, he has the country of England. But hey, add another one to the roster. He's like, I'm the King of England and Wonka. Those are his two things.
Wonka's for everybody.
All right, so this is our lineup. So I guess
the final person.
I'm sorry.
Through the gate and is like, "Wait, I'm here. Wait, don't forget me." And he is very giddy, very emotional. He's skipping a little bit. He's got his little vest and high-waisted pants on, and it is none other than Laurie, aka Teddy from Little Women. Skipping through, he's like, "I'm so sorry I was late. My bad. I was stuck in an attic playing with my friends, pretending to be old men. Normal."
All right. The first character is Zefferelli B from The French Dispatch. And, I think we've all made it to the chocolate room at this point. And I just want to give y'all a little bit of background about Zefferelli B because The French Dispatch is a pretty new movie. And The French Dispatch is basically broken up into these 3 little short stories. And it might be 4. I don't remember. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. So Zefferelli is a college student who's a revolutionary in France, and this takes place in 1969. And it's told from this perspective of Frances McDormand's character, who writes for The French Dispatch. I will say, I don't know why, I have never felt so seen by a cinema character than I was by Frances McDormand in this movie. She was just like, well, I'm just here to do my job. And I was like, girl, me too. I just loved her. I don't know. I was like, she's exactly like me for real. And I was like, she's in this movie for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I know. She's amazing. She's just typing on her typewriter. And I'm like, girl, me too. Anyway. Not the point.
Did you just say that you had a conversation with yourself?
Yeah. Sometimes I watch a movie and people will be having conversations or be talking to themselves in front of the character. I'm like, this is unrealistic. And I'm like, girl, you cannot talk. You interview yourself like you're on a talk show daily. You can't. When I'm on my own, I am giving cooking tutorials. I am, that's how I get through my day, man. Basically, here's a quick rundown of the story because it's very short. Mm-hmm. So spoilers for French Dispatch.
Skip ahead if you don't want to spoil it.
He's a student revolutionary who's basically just trying to stop the draft of students and basically just wants everybody to have their freedom of choice. He's fighting to get access to the women's dormitory, not in a creepy way, but in let's everybody be able to go where they want to go, not have our lives regimented, fair. And he is this chess playing revolutionary. So he plays the administrators in a chess match.
Oh, wow.
To win it. And their slogan is "The children are grumpy."
Wait, the school's slogan?
No, the revolutionary slogan.
Oh, the children are grumpy. That's not as, and maybe it sounds better in French.
And that doesn't really.
Les enfants I don't remember the
word.
Grumpy.
So the story, it's being told from this perspective of Frances McDormand's journalist character, who is at dinner at Zefferelli's parents' house, and she cleans up her makeup in the bathroom, and she accidentally finds Zefferelli in the bathtub. And he's like, "Oh my God, how did you get in here? This is crazy." But he's like, "Can you proofread my manifesto? Because I wrote it, and you're a fancy journalist lady."
That's so Churchill of him to conduct business from the bathtub.
And then she reads it and gives him critiques, and he's like, "No, I didn't want you to critique it. I just thought you'd think it was good and like me."
Creative writing classes be
literally. She offers to proofread his manifesto. She and Zefferelli hook up, which was wild, and I was not expecting. But you know what? Good for him. And then his mom comes by, and Frances McDormand is she's 50. That's why that's wild.
A peer review we're not expecting.
Yes. So his mom comes by, and to where Frances McDormand and Zefferelli are hanging out, kind of obviously after doing something, as mom comes by, and he's like, why the fuck isn't she more freaked out? Like, she should be weirded out by this, right? And Frances McDormand's like, I don't know, man. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want out of this? He's a chessboard revolutionary, so he's playing chess against the mayor of the town, and there's like this big blockade. And then Frances McDormand sets Zefferelli up with this girl in the revolution that they have like a thing for each other. So that was fun. And then he drowns in a river. Rest in peace.
What? Whoa.
A few more things happened, but those were the important things that I wrote down as I was watching.
Classic French revolutionary tale.
Yeah. I put down, what would Wonka like? I thought there's a chance he could like the children are grumpy, but he also might hate it. I don't know. Like, he's kind of hard to pin down when you put these things. He's very hypocritical. But I do think he would like the revolution in itself because of how much he hates school.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he'd be all fucking about that.
And Wonka would like that he reads. Now, I think Wonka would hate that he smokes all the time. Wonka would not be down with that. I don't think Wonka's down with cigarette smoke.
Okay.
I don't think so personally.
Cigarette smoke.
Oh, no, yeah. Wonka is down the clown. And down the
Wonka's
clown with weed.
Puff pass pastries.
Oh my God, that's
bookmark.
Incredible.
Bookmark. Trademark.
God, that should have been what somebody else got out by. Jesus.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
We'll use that for a later episode.
I love it.
That's so funny.
Wonka's edibles.
Wonka's edibles. Yeah, I don't think Wonka would like him. So my verdict is he also might be like, but where is the freedom on the factory tour, and just start like eating whatever he wants because he doesn't like being restricted in that way. So here's my official verdict. Upon seeing the chocolate room, Zefferelli sees the lack of freedom of the Oompa Loompas and is appalled. He grabs some pamphlets out of his pocket and raises it in the air. Here, I have something I think you all would like to read. But Wonka tries to grab the pamphlets out of his hands and sends them flying into the chocolate river, and Zefferelli dives in after them and succumbs to its chocolatey depths. So rest in peace, Zefferelli. Unfortunately,
R.I.P.
Wow. A cool guy, I guess. Not the winner of Wonka's Factory.
Alas. A loss for the French.
Sacre bleu!
Zutalo! Merde!
No! I don't know any words in French.
Oh, la 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 la.
Who's up next on the outs?
Moody Paul from Dune. Now, as you heard earlier, I have not watched the movie, but I did what any good person would do, and I went on Wikipedia to read the plot. And after I read the plot, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because nothing was fully explained. They were like, this plot is doing
because
this.
I thought Paul Dune was going to make it pretty far.
It'll make sense in time.
Okay, I believe you.
So I will say, they all make it past the first run. I imagine there's like NPCs around my Timmys. So all these Timmys, I think I had some powerhouses here.
You did have some good ones. I had some really shit ones. I'm gonna be honest, y'all.
Yes, it makes sense that
I got the real fuckers over here.
Yeah, I got a lot of emotional ones. So I read the description, and the shit was really complicated. And the worst way I can do to sum this up, which is most likely very incorrect, is that Paul's family is really high and mighty, and oops, he's sent to the desert planet to bring peace from a war or some shit like that. And there's a resource there called spice that's really rare, and it gives you abilities. And Paul inhales them and starts having visions.
My favorite part of the 80s Dune is basically Kyle MacLachlan gets high on like space edibles and kind of astral projects, and then says, "Now I control the worms and the spice." And I think about it all the time. There's another scene where he falls down a hill for 2 minutes. I love it. You know what I do like about the 1980s Dune is if it was just if they injected it with a little American Pie, it would have just been Dude Barbarella. And that is a bunch of words that don't make much sense, but trust me, if you know, you know. Okay, I feel like Kyle MacLachlan, he very much had that titty window going on. I'm just saying things right now, but hold on.
I'm uncultured and I have no idea what's happening right now. Welcome to Felicia's If You Know, You Know Club.
Here we go. The titty window. There's this famous outfit from Dune. This is like the titty window.
Wow. Oh, he's an Audi. Belly button. It like the V takes you to the Audi. The titty window.
Basically, he's got the Dune suit on, and it's down zipped. It's like a Playboy shot. It's fantastic. I think it's great.
Wow, I
love it.
Okay, so Paul. Anyway, what I gathered from the YouTube videos, and mostly I was able to glean a lot from fan videos made between Paul and I believe her name is Shawnee.
Yeah,
Shawnee, who's Zendaya, and he seems gloomy. He does a lot of dramatic walking, and there's dramatic rock music that it's got like an older vibe, like an 80s vibe kind of, and it's like wow, 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 wow. And he obviously has a lot of these visions as he takes the spice or whatever, and he keeps seeing Zendaya's character, and it's like whoa, whoa, whoa. So I think what Wonka would like about Paul is that he daydreams. I feel like that's the thing, Wonka, he's creative, and that he always has dramatic rock music accompanying him. Wonka's like, oh, we love that. What Wonka would hate about him is that he's one of those annoying people who talks about his dreams all the time. And he's like, I don't care. And it's like not an interesting dream. He's like, I see a girl. And Wonka would be like, I don't care. And everyone in the group would end up turning on him most likely. That's not what happens here, but it's a vibe that could have happened, you know?
Okay.
So this is what I imagine happens to Paul. So Paul enters the factory and things are off to a rough start. He's asked to sign that contract and suddenly he just gazes off in the distance and says nothing for an awkward 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. No one knows what to do. And then he starts yelling. He's yelling about a vision he's having. And it's this mystery girl that haunts his dreams. This girl who turns into a giant blueberry. And Wonka's like, that's really weird. I don't know what's happening. Because this is, to be clear, this entire narrative, I imagine, is separate from the other factory. Like, that's a different plane.
I agree.
And it's really weird. So as Paul's going on this tour, there's this scrawny boy dressed in a vest with high-waisted pants and an ascot who's incredibly melodramatic, which Paul is definitely not melodramatic. And he's just like, this is annoying. And then on the tour, there's another one of those guys who's just like dressed up like a soldier, and it's kind of weird. And he's like an American soldier, but he's French. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. But then Paul's like, I'm going to focus on me. And he keeps having flashes to the blue girl, and it's driving him insane. And so he's near his breaking point when Wonka takes the group to a new room he's created called the Spice Room. And it's filled with spices that can help clear your mind. And as Wonka is known to say, a dash of my puffleberry spice will make your brain feel nice. And Paul's like, oh, fuck yeah. He runs in, just starts snorting it. Doesn't even ask how you're supposed to take it. He just decides it's to be snorted. And he realizes too late it has the opposite effect. Instead of clearing his brain, it makes the visions so intense that he can't escape. And he is now in his vision. And the blueberry girl is before him. And he realizes, as someone turns to him and they go, Mike, what's going on? He is lost in his own mind and spends the rest of his life as Mike TV, being punished not only once in the factory, but twice. And for some reason, he can tell that this alternate universe Wonka knows who he truly is. Dune.
Wow. It's like being John Malkovich, but Dune.
But Dune.
Have you ever seen Being John Malkovich?
No. I've heard a little bit tale.
Okay, because you wrote the exact plot of Being John Malkovich, basically.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
But I love that. I don't love that for Paul. I feel bad for him, but I think that makes sense to me. I think you've sold your case. I believe it. I'm down with it.
Good. Thank you. As someone who knows at least some part of the Dune universe, I'm glad to hear that possibly somewhat.
Next bad boy, he sees that whole thing goes down. He's like, oh my God, Cocaine and puffleberries for losers. I only smoke hand-rolled cigarettes. It's Kyle from Lady Bird. So for people who haven't seen, he's just an annoying, pretentious high schooler in a band who Lady Bird hooks up with, and he plays bass. His character's function is basically just like, even if he's hot and pretends to be deep, doesn't mean he's a good guy. So I went through and was like, what would Wonka like about this guy? And the only thing is that he is seen reading. So that's it. That's all he would like. It's literally it. So Wonka would hate. So like, Kyle's like, ew, why are you shaking hands? That's so weird to Ladybird. So I really think he would do the whole Mike TV, constantly questioning everything Wonka, you know? And Wonka would be like, why are you mumbling? And he hates tech. He's like, cell phones are like tracking devices that the government gives you, and you're just like buying them on your own, and we're all going to be transferred. It's just like a minute before they put it in your brain, you know? But he has so much 2005 Mike TV energy. So it's a very interesting combo. He smokes hand-rolled cigarettes because he's like, the other ones have like fiberglass in them and they taste so much better if you do it the normal way. He's not drunk. I don't know why I'm portraying him like this.
No, I like it. Keep going.
And then he's also boycotting the economy because he doesn't like money and tries to live by bartering.
The economy.
And he is a rich kid, for reference. I think everyone needs to know that. He's like super rich. So it took me a little while to come up with a way that I felt like he would pass in the factory. Like, how would he be eliminated? I had to get a little funky with it. So bear with me. So about 3 stops in the tour, Kyle turns to Wonka and says, dude, like, I get it. You kind of seem like a sellout, and like you're only motivated by money, which is dumb. Like, where's the art? It's stupid. And Wonka would become incredibly upset. And Wonka says, you know what? We're going to my experimental music tasting room. And he says, look at this over here. I've created a hand-rolled cigarette that tastes exactly like what it sounds like to listen to the Smiths. And Kyle's like, hell yeah, bro, give me some of that. And Wonka's like, oh no, don't do it. Definitely do not smoke the Smith-ret, you know? But Kyle smokes it anyway and is slowly shrunk down into a copy of a Smiths album. And he's like screaming, but he slowly goes, ah, and he turns into Morrissey while it happens. Then Wonka's like, next up, I will get Morrissey himself. Because I just feel like Wonka would also hate Morrissey. I really don't like Morrissey. There's a lot of reasons to. But yeah, so that's what I think would happen.
Yeah,
I forgot I had written that until I got to this point, and
Kyle deserves it.
He does deserve it.
You did essentially kill him, but I don't think
I would rather get turned into a Smiths record than deal with whatever Paul was doing.
Yeah, that seems less like, I don't know how like sentient at that point you are.
But Wonka will be like, we'll stretch him back out, and now he'll just be a boy made out of vinyl, and he'll walk and talk just like he did before. Because
Wonka made out of vinyl. Kyle will go to parties. He's like, dude, put me in the record machine. I play stick beat. Just do it, bro.
Have you ever seen a record that's shaped this cool? I bet your machine can't even play it because I'm so crazy.
Yo, when you hit my belly button on this track, shit gets wild. That's happened, and our poor, frail Philippe Dejardin is a little quake. He's a little shaky. And Philippe is from the movie Hostel.
Sorry. I'm just picturing a little chihuahua with a bandana tied around its neck.
Yes, honestly, that is Philippe Dejardin vibes. So the movie Hostiles that no one has seen, I went on IMDb and they beautifully summed it up in one sentence. In 1892, a legendary army captain reluctantly agrees to escort a Cheyenne chief and his family through dangerous territory. Timothée Chalamet does not play a main character.
Yeah.
However, such a big presence on the screen if you're a Timmy fan. Otherwise, he's kind of forgettable. He seems pretty confused but self-aware. He's very quiet. So what I think Wonka would like from him, he's a soldier, so he follows orders, and like he has a sword. That's so exciting. You know, swords are fun. What Wonka would dislike is that he mumbles and he's French. I just see Wonka not liking French people. I just get a vibe that he would be very stereotypical, And I imagine at some point a Frenchman like disgraced him or something, disrespected him. And so there'd be beef there. So all things that Philippe really can't control would be things that Wonka would hate about him.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Philippe Dejardin, he's quietly anxious this whole time. He's kind of having a panic attack. He actually did not want to go to this. He won the ticket, and instead of feeling excited, he instantly felt dread because he was going to have to go in front of reporters and be in the public eye, and everyone wanted to talk to him about it, and he wanted to be like, please don't talk to me, ew, gross. I am just a little French boy trying to make it big in the American army by traversing the Wild West upon my pony. But his douchey brother Jacques makes him go. So Jacques is the person that Philippe brings with him. Jacques is not a real character in Hostiles, but he's a real character in our hearts.
But he's real to me.
He's really, that's right. I made an OC in this. Okay.
My Hostiles OC.
Hostiles OC Wonka crossover. Fuck me. Poor little Philippe is mumbling a lot, and Wonka actually mocks him for the mumbling. He's like, wait, I can make fun of someone for mumbling. He kind of wants someone a little like, boisterous, loud. Philippe's a big rule follower, and he's kind of fine and good. He's quietly anxious this whole time. Jacques, of course, is the douchey brother. He's very loud, and to a point, Wonka's kind of like...
Is he played by Chris Pratt?
Yes. And so Wonka, and he has the accent. Philippe is French, and Jacques is French, but he has the American accent of Chris Pratt, obviously.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
So they finally enter a room where Wonka has created something called Wonka Pods, and it's a deprivation tank that allows you to dream of candy and eating it without having to eat it, inspired by Felicia's wish. So you go in there like any other deprivation tank. If you don't know what these are, this is actually a thing you do at spas. You go into this like above ground tank, and there's like salt water, so you float, and they turn out the lights, and it's supposed to be really relaxing. For some people, it sounds like a nightmare. But Philippe is so excited. He doesn't give a shit about eating the candy. He's just like, oh my God, I can escape from everybody. And so he runs into the Wonka Pods, and Wonka sees this, and he's like, wait, stop, don't. But Philippe slams the door shut. And he's locked in there for years, eventually drowning, and no one recalls he's gone. The second that Wonka says that, he's distracted by something else, and they leave, and literally, even Jacques, no one realizes or cares that he's gone. So...
Do you think maybe he got out in the night and has been living inside Wonka's factory like a little mouse in the sewers? Not in the sewers, in the vents.
What if he's the factory ghost?
The factory ghost? Don't you mean Philippe Dejardin?
Philippe
from Hostiles?
From Hostiles. What's that?
From the famed movie Hostiles?
So now we're down another one. Jacques is still hanging out, and again, he doesn't really notice I guess he's a douche, and so
so we're down to two,
to our
aren't
final
we? We're down
two.
to two. So we've got King Richard and Laurie from Little Women. So I guess this is the point where we try to argue our case a little bit. So let me tell you a little about King Richard. I don't remember much about this movie because I watched it about a year ago. No, 2 years ago. I would have watched this like 2 or 3 years ago, actually. I don't know why I said a year ago. So all I know is he's really obsessed. Like this other leader sent him this ball, and I don't remember why, but it was like really rude that he did it. And he keeps bringing it up throughout the movie. And I don't know what it was. And I don't know what the ball was about. And I know I wrote a review of the movie on Letterboxd, and my review was just the metaphor is stored in the ball. And I don't know what that means. And I said, to me, this movie is just kind of like a shittier version of The Green Knight, in my opinion. Like, I would just rather watch The Green Knight, which has
Dev Patel.
So this is the movie that I think is much more memorable because of Timothée Chalamet's character. He's good in this, but he's not memorable. What's more memorable is Robert Pattinson's incredible French character, where he plays a French prince who is like, Timothée, I think you're maybe not very good at battle. And I think you're just mad because you've got a tiny dick. That's what he says. That's not a joke. That's like a real line in the movie, basically. He says giant balls and a tiny little cock. That is word for word what he says in the movie, because I watched that scene like every day for a month and a half. I don't know why. I just really liked it. Don't read into that. Okay. I think the traits that Wonka would hate is that he's kind of a privileged rich boy. But other than that, he's not very memorable, and he's very much a blank slate. He's got that malleable quality that I think Wonka enjoys, because I think Zefferelli falls into the trap of he actually has a lot of Wonka-like traits that actually stop him from potentially winning the factory, if that makes sense. He's in the Violet Beauregard paradox, where it's like you're like Wonka, but you're too much like Wonka, where Wonka can't control you. I think Richard falls into it in he has enough Wonka-like traits to win, but not in the Zefferelli or Violet way, where it's like a problem, you know? He does execute people who betray him, which is not unlike Wonka's treatment of children in the factory. And I also think Wonka would be obsessed about a thing a rival did like 5 years ago, like he is in this movie, like, but he sent me a ball. Why did he send me the ball? You know,
Wonka holds a grudge. Yeah,
Wonka holds a grudge. King Richard does give some great battle speeches, so he would absolutely kill the press tours and like the PR interviews for the Wonka candy. So that's why I think he has potential. Out of the lot I was given, he was the best one that I felt Wonka wouldn't absolutely despise. I think the blank slate quality is his biggest draw.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I can definitely see that. Laurie. Yes. Why could Laurie possibly win? Let me tell you. So, if you don't know, Laurie is a lovable character in Little Women. He befriends the March Girls, who that sounded like their calendar pinups. No, they are a cute little family during the Civil War. All women. The father has gone off to fight for their something rights, and weirdly enough, they don't really talk about it at all in this movie. You barely notice the Civil War is happening, but there's just a lot of like sister energy happening, and Laurie becomes their BFFs. So he's really giddy. He's honest. And so I think what Wonka would really like about him is that like Gemini energy he has. He's very outgoing. They have the same fashion energy. I feel like they would enjoy shopping. They could definitely like try each other's clothes and stuff, you know, do some shoe swapping and stuff. And I think Laurie has the right amount of theatrics. He has that love of silly drama, that I think Wonka would highly enjoy.
I agree.
He also would try to get the Oompa Loompas to sing a song and stage silly antics and stuff, you know? I will say what I think he might not love is that sometimes Laurie might have too much energy and he gets a little clingy. And when he's depressing, he drinks a lot and gambles. But like, I don't know. I feel like Wonka could look past that.
I feel like
Wonka has a gambling streak in him. I could see it.
I do. I agree.
Yeah. He just seems like the kind of guy that would have a good vice, and that seems like his. And also, sorry, I forgot to mention what he likes. Laurie is definitely a sub. Moving on. Oh, come on.
Wait, but how does that have to do with Wonka? Are they hooking up?
That's my case anyway. So what do you
Wait, what do you think? I agree with you. I was just confused on how it related.
I think more like
I was like, I'm not arguing.
He has sub energy, and Wonka wants to have somebody that he can basically make do what he wants. So not necessarily they're hooking up, more in the business sense. Is there a fan fiction we could write there?
Terminology?
Sure.
Yeah. Which Wonka?
Well, Laurie's also like a sub, you know.
We've established that. I know, Elaine.
Oh, and he has a fun nickname. I forgot. I think that's like a really compelling. He has a fun nickname, Teddy, and I feel like Wonka would love nicknames. I feel like he'd be all about it. So
I am fully on board for giving it to Laurie.
Laurie,
I agree with you. Richard is weak. He's not, I wasn't convinced. So I didn't really write a full death for him. So I wrote here is, but if he doesn't, I can make a joke about how he's insecure about how Robert Pattinson's character said his balls were huge and his dick was small. And Wonka uses that in some capacity. He's like, this is ball shrink pills. And he's like, I've been insecure about that ever since Robert Pattinson yelled at me that one
ball
day.
Shrink pills.
And then he shrinks down to the size of a ball.
But his balls stay the same size.
Terrible. Get out of here. No.
Oh my God. Laurie basically is ignorant and just avoids losing multiple times. Like he kind of like Charlie almost wins by default, but He is just lucky. So he keeps going around this factory and goes, oh my gosh, wow, look at this, to another kid, who then proceeds to interact with said object, candy, or whatever, and then has their demise. So he keeps pointing out these other things. He doesn't interact with them, but then everyone around him starts to just like fall off. Here's the problem, though. The main thing, everything's fine, but then Laurie starts falling in love with Philippe Dejardin.
Oh my God.
Phil does not return his affection. He thinks that they'd be better as friends. They would hate each other if they got together. He shouldn't do it. And it's just really sad. Laurie emotes a lot, which is unsettling to the group. He's pining. It's been very sad. This whole tour, he's been about that. He gets rejected. At one point, randomly, he tries to stage a small theater production with the Oompa Loompas, but he is ushered to follow the group once more. He just thought it'd be fun. He brought out all these top hats. So he still carries the emotional burden of Phil's rejection when he finally notices Phil's brother, Jacques.
Oh, God.
He falls in love with Jacques, completely forgets Phil.
Can we unmake it Chris Pratt now?
Yes, let's unmake it Chris Pratt.
Because I hate it being Chris Pratt.
Let's make Jacques Tom Holland.
Yeah, done. Perfect. Great.
So Jacques, as we recall, is Phil's douchey brother, completely forgets Phil. He's like, whatever, I'm all in now on you, the brother. Unfortunately for Laurie, yet again, he points out an exciting weightlifting gym area where Wonka has created a candy that can make you super fit. It's called Crunch, but not to be confused with the other chocolate candy named Crunch. It's different, and Wonka will tell you that until the day he dies. Different. It's not a Crunch bar, it's a Crunch.
Different candies.
And as we know, as I told you, Laurie keeps pointing out these cool things, and then it's other people's demise. And so Jacques sees this. Yeah. And he's like, oh my God. And he runs over and he eats the candy. And Jacques gets so beefy. However, the only thing with Crunch is that it hasn't been fully developed. It forgets leg day. And so his top part gets so hefty, but his legs become sticks. He's like one of those chickens at the Tyson Chicken Factory. Anyway, Laurie is whisked away at that point. He is finally the last standing and he wins the factory. However, he's so emotionally distraught that not one but two siblings from the Dejardin family either rejected him or left him through badness. Yeah. Great. Love it. But what he does once he wins the factory, he turns it into a theater that no one attends. Mm-hmm. He starts drinking a lot, gambles, and within 6 months, the factory is closed.
But wait, before the factory closes, Philippe Dejardin drops down from a vent in the ceiling and he says, I've seen all the work you've done on these productions and I really appreciate the work you've put in. And you know what? Over time, I've become less scared of other people and I've started to really open up and realize maybe there is room for other people in my life. And what I wanted to ask is, would you like to get lunch sometime? And then they ride off into the sunset happily ever after and never question why they look like the exact same person.
That's so cute. I love that so much.
Thank you. I was like, we need to give this a happy ending.
They're nice. I cannot tell you the amount of effort I put when I actually wrote Laurie first, and then I was like, no, we need to follow the plot line of Joe rejecting him and then he randomly going for Amy, the youngest sister. Thanks for the happy ending, I guess. It can be silly instead of depressing. I love that though. That's so cute. Filori. Filori. What a cute couple name.
I forgot about Philippe, and I was like, why am I involved? I was Philippe the whole time.
Paul Dano, you're in this?
I think this was a really good learning experience for us. Yeah. This is kind of an episode that like you're going to see a few times, but in various forms. Different sets of people. Who's going to win the factory? You know what I mean? I think it'll be really fun. We're very excited about it. You know, we do have 2 years of content to fill. So we need something repeatable, dependable, and that's fun
for us.
This is fun for us.
Did you get weirdly attached to your people? Because I kind of did.
I did not.
Oh.
I don't give a fuck about them.
Just kidding. I don't have emotions. That's disgusting.
I can tell you got attached to little Philippe Dejardin.
I loved him. And from the movie I didn't watch, from YouTube.
It's funny because you hadn't seen 2 out of the 3 movies you reported on.
Correct.
Maybe that's why you got so
maybe
attached.
I was going to say maybe that is
invent them yourself. Because I wasn't attached to Zefferelli. I was attached to Frances McDormand in that movie. I was like, I love her. She's just like me. She tells it like it is.
What's your prediction?
Oh, Predicky?
Okay.
Nope.
Remember at the beginning of the episode when we talked about putting two words together? The same goes for trying to come up with shorter little fun words for things.
I can't just say anything. That doesn't make it a thing.
Yeah, you can't just...
saying it doesn't make it a thing. I'm going to have to write that like that's my new manifestation. Saying it doesn't make it a thing. That's the opposite of manifestation, actually.
Yeah, I like it.
My prediction... Oh, good lordy. Wonka is an only child.
Oh, interesting.
I was thinking about the brothers. I was thinking about Philippe and Dejardin, and I was like, you know what? No. Not in this Wonka.
Yeah. Okay.
There will be no siblings in any capacity. No, I'm joking.
Everyone's just... There is no aunt and uncle.
No.
They don't
actually,
exist.
That's true. There will be an aunt
That's
and uncle.
the dystopian Wonka movie we could...
Paul King loves an aunt and an uncle. He loves them.
He'd have
he
nothing
loves an
without
aunt and an uncle and a grandpa. He goes fucking crazy for them.
Insane.
Hide your grandpas, hide your aunts and uncles. Paul King's on the rounds. He's going to use them in a plot point. All right.
My prediction is that Timothée Chalamet will be given a song where there is a high note that you're not sure he's going to hit and you're getting a little stressed. And then probably...
you can tell it's coming.
You can tell it's coming. And then it's not bad, but you can tell there's been some engineering help. And this is no diss to the singing. It's just there are some high notes that with the wrong tone or, like an E versus an E kind of thing, it can sound flat or something. And I just feel like there is going to be an uncomfortable, and maybe it's not even just Timothée. Someone in this movie is going to have an uncomfortable high note that maybe shouldn't have been written.
Yeah, or like you listen to the soundtrack and it's like, did you put that at the right note? Are you sure? Yeah, I agree with you. That'll happen at some point. That's just a reality. I think those are good. So I guess thank you everybody for listening to this episode. I think it was a really fun one for us. If you have any other Timothée Chalamet characters that you think should have been in the running, what you think they would have done. We didn't do Elio from Call Me By Your Name because the whole joke would be like, oh, well, you fucked the peach. Make a joke about that. It's lazy, okay? It's lazy. I don't want to see any of y'all.
We're high
in my inbox.
Comedy over here. We're professionals.
Anybody makes about Timothée Chalamet, and we've already made it once. I think we can't do it anymore.
It's done. Also, another movie I haven't seen, so
yeah, exactly.
It could have been perfect for me to do it, but no.
I've seen it way too many times. I just am bored of it.
Be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Wonka Watch, and like Felicia said, email us. Send us all your goodies at wonkarapture@gmail.com. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Wonka Watch. Yeah. That was our first jazz band practice.
Yeah. It's been going really well, guys.
It's helping us write the Harvey Girls musical. Very exciting.
It's really not that important. Philippe Dejardin was lost to time.
Well, Paul. We lost Paul in
we lost Paul in the mind of Mike TV. Rest in peace. But you know what? They're fictional. And they don't exist. So fuck them. It's not that important.
Bah.